Hi, it's Andy, and today I'm going to be filming my May wrap up. Is it kind of late? Not really, no. I don't have to do them at the start of the month. I've decided I'm going to do them right now. I have Hamish with me. He's decided he needs to sit on the seat. And I'm also wearing the shirt that says, "That's what I do, I read books and I know things." Oh, I drink tea and I know things, sorry. I read books, I drink tea and I know things, thanks to my mother-in-law who saw this and immediately thought of me. So yeah, I'm going to be doing my May wrap up alongside my lovely assistant, Hamish, who is probably going to jump down at some point because he wants the whole chair and he's not getting it because I'm filming, yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to get started and go through what I read in the month of May. So in May I read 15 books, which does include one duplicate because I read a book twice, but you'll see that anyway. And yeah, I had a lot of fun in May. It was a really good month for my reading, so I'm excited. Most things got 5 stars according to Cropile. I had one 4.5 and one 4-star, and I'll talk about that when I go through the books. So the first thing I read in May was the entire 4 volumes of Heartstopper. This was a reread for me because I watched the TV series and then decided I wanted to reread the 4 graphic novels. Even though the TV series only does volumes 1 and 2, I couldn't stop and had to read 3 and 4. So that's the first 4. I zoomed through them in, you know, a couple of hours or something like that because they're so easy to read. And the art style's brilliant, and I'm not somebody who likes graphic novels or comics, but I love Heartstopper. So yeah, Ollie's got a 5-star, obviously, fight me. Next I read The Black Mountain by Kate Moss. I absolutely love Kate Moss, she's one of my favourite historical fiction writers. This is about an island that is also home to this volcano called the Black Mountain, and it's a short story from the quick reads, and it is basically, this is about to erupt. This one person's been saying it's going to erupt, and the powers that be silence him, and his daughter realises what's happened and tries to get people off this island before it erupts. Next up is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I read this and this was the 4.5 stars. I should have said the other one was a 5-star. This was the 4.5 star. I actually read this twice this month. So I read it at the start of the month, I gave it 4.5 star on Cropile, and then read it later on and gave it a 5-star. Obviously on further reading or second reading it was better, so hopefully if I reread it again I'm still going to enjoy it so much. I love the STEM representation in this, and I don't know, I just really liked it. I can't say much more. If you don't know what this is about, then where have you been? Basically this student, I can't remember her name, Olive is panicking because her friend really likes her ex-boyfriend, they went on like one date, so to prove that she's over him, she kisses this guy randomly in the hall, and it turns out he is the most feared, nasty professor at the college, and his name is Adam, and basically Olive and Adam start this fake dating thing to try and help with her friend and something else that Adam has going on, and as we all know with fake dating it turns into not quite so fake. Next up I read This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay. I've literally yesterday, before filming this today, I watched the series of this and it was so good. It was so good. It's obviously not quite the same as the book because the book is diary entries from when Adam Kay was a junior doctor, and he worked from 2004 to 2010 in Obs and Gynae in the NHS, and this is funny. It is so much of how it is to work in the NHS. I've worked in the NHS now for a few years as both a dental nurse and now in a GP practice, and it's very realistic to how it is. Obviously it's his diaries as a junior doctor. Very funny, but also very sad, as you can imagine, because it's not always, you know, it's not always the best things that happen in a hospital. But yeah, I absolutely recommend this, recommend the show, and it's just, we're thinking about going to see the live show for this, so I'm really excited. Next up I read With This Kiss by Carrie Hope Fletcher with these gorgeous sprayed edges. I actually pre-ordered this and read it immediately when it came in. It's also signed. I am so excited to read Carrie Hope Fletcher's books when they come out. I always enjoy them. They're always a fast read. And again, you know, it got 5 stars. Pretty much everything, unless I tell you, it got 5 stars. I really enjoyed this. This was a really good concept and she followed it through really, really well. I was not expecting this to be as good as it was, and I really need to take the sticker off, but I'm really, really scared I'm going to damage the cover. So yeah, definitely recommend. I love Carrie. I follow her YouTube. I follow her. I've seen her in a few things, and I absolutely love her books. Next up was The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. I read The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary and loved it. This one not so much. This got a 4-star on Copile. I don't quite understand how it works on Copile because, like, yeah, the logic made sense and the writing was good, but the story was really not that great. Basically, this girl Addie and her sister are on a road trip to a friend's wedding in Scotland. Dylan and his friend are also on the way to this wedding, and their car breaks down, and Addie and her sister take them in the car and take them up to Scotland. But Addie and Dylan... Can I help you? This is what I've got to work with. You done? Okay. But Addie and Dylan were together and now they're not, and it ended quite badly, and now they're stuck in a car together. And I think on reread this might be a bit more interesting, but it was just so boring. There was no tension, and it flips between from when they met to now, and I saw a trope coming a mile away, and I even said in the group chat, I was like, if this happens, that's it. And it happened, and oh my god, I hated it. But otherwise it was not so bad. Beth O'Leary knows how to write characters that you don't like. I didn't like a single character in this, except maybe the ones you weren't meant to like. Did not like anybody, so I don't know. Next up, I read For the Wolf by Hannah Witton. This is a fantasy story about 2 sisters, one who's born for the throne and one who's born for the wolf. Now the second sisters in this country, basically kingdom, are given to the wolf in the Wilderwood, and they never come back. And this is the first time in years that a second daughter has been born. And Red has one purpose, and she's to go to the Wilderwood. Please excuse Hamish. And yeah, so basically it follows Red as she goes into the Wilderwood and her sister trying to save her, basically. But it's so much more than that, because the wolf is not what you expect, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I've got For the Throne sitting downstairs, and I can't add it to my TBR this month because I have far too much to read, but I really, really want to read it. I'm really excited to read it. Next up is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I finally did it. I found a Neil Gaiman book that I like. I absolutely love The Graveyard Book. It's about this boy called Nobody, although they call him Bod, and his family are murdered right at the start of the book, and he escapes as a baby and ends up in this graveyard and is raised by the ghosts that live in this graveyard, with his sort of main guardian being, I want to say a vampire, I'm not entirely sure. And he grows up and he has freedom of the cemetery, of the graveyard, and can see the ghosts, can talk to them, can interact with them. They feed him, they clothe him, they look after him. He can hide in plain sight, and the man who murdered his family is still after him. So they also protect him in the graveyard. And it's really, really good. I think it's a middle grade, or just slightly older than a middle grade, and I just thought it was fantastic. So yeah, finally one that I like. Next, I read Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen, and this is about mermaids. This is based on African folklore, the Mamiwata, who are mermaids, and it follows Sibedeli, who is our main character, and she does what she's not meant to do. She rescues a human, and everything kind of goes, you know, pear-shaped from then. She has to find a way to this dream creator to seek forgiveness so that the goddess of the mermaids is not punished in tandem with her. And it's such a good story. I'm excited to see the second one because this ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, but it was really, really good. The mythology that was woven into it was fantastic. It was just an easy read overall. I read it by audiobook and read the physical along with it, so it made it a little bit easier with words that I wasn't entirely sure how to pronounce, like the Mamiwata and Simidili, which is her name. And it's just, I always love reading audiobooks for that reason, because you get to hear how the author intended them to be said. But yeah, I definitely recommend this. It was absolutely fantastic. Next I read The Love Hypothesis again. This was near the end of the month and I had finished my TBR and had just started reading whatever the hell I wanted, so I reread The Love Hypothesis. But I'm not getting out of the pile again. Next up I read The Radleys by Matt Haig. I love Matt Haig. I've read pretty much all of his books by now, at least all of the fiction books, and this was just the same as always. It was a great read. It was a 5-star. This is about a family of vampires who are trying to live a normal life. Vampires are known in this world, and they have two types of vampires: the ones that try and live normally and the ones that just act like what you'd expect vampires to act like, and there's a whole section of the police that go after the ones that aren't trying to live and assimilate, basically. This follows the family, the Radleys. The parents, fully aware that the vampires have been, alive for years, and the children don't know until something happens and suddenly they find out. And it's just it's almost like a comedy of errors. It's fantastic. Next I read The Boy on the Bridge by Emma Carey. This again was fantastic. Everything I read this month was fantastic, so I'm really, really happy. This is set before The Girl with All the Gifts, so this is set in Rosie. If you've read or seen The Girl with All the Gifts, you know what I mean. Rosie is this technological tank, basically, a science tank. So this crew are in Rosie and they're going up to Scotland from Dover, I think, round about Dover, and they're travelling all the way up the country, up to Scotland, zigzagging back and forward, collecting these samples from this fungus that has taken over and caused the people to become zombies, or hungries as they call them, because the only function they have is to eat and spread the fungus to other people. This is made up of a science team with some army people to protect them, and it's based on a character you see in The Girl with All the Gifts. There's this boy who is hungry, but he's unusual, and he's standing on the bridge, hence The Boy on the Bridge, and one of our characters wonders about him, but this is basically his story, and it's so interesting and so good, and then the end of it jumps forward after The Girl with All the Gifts, so I absolutely love it. It was such a good read. Emma Carey can really, really write a book, and I just loved it. The tension was there, the fear you had for the characters, the fact that you know what happens to Rosie, which is the name of the tank. It's called the Rosalind Franklin, so they shorten it to Rosie. The fact that you know the fate of Rosie from The Girl with All the Gifts, and you know that it doesn't make it back, you think, what happened to this crew? But nothing is what you actually think. It's amazing. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, that is all the books I read in May. I am so happy with my reading that month. I read books that I absolutely loved, found new authors that I absolutely loved, and got through all of the books there, apart from the Heartstopper books, and technically my second reading of The Love Hypothesis were all from my TBR. So that is, 10 books I've managed to get off of my TBR, which is great. 10 books off my TBR cart. That's excellent. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Hamish says goodbye, and thank you for watching. He would very much like to... Hamish says, give it a thumbs up if you want to see him in more videos, because he's clearly the most important thing in this whole video. And I agree. So from Hamish and I, see you later, and I'll see you in another video.